Yo, peace, neighbors. Yo, what's poppin' with the population, man? It's your favorite neighbor, Dayron, aka Neighborhood, man. Yo, today I was walking mellow, and I came across a neighbor's yard where they had the fence line kind of growing towards the sidewalk. And on the fence line, they had a bunch of this growing. And if you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? And I seen it for some weeks growing on there, but it's just growing just vigorously. And I seen some of it wilting. So I was like, you know what? It doesn't look like they even know what this is, nor are they even gonna harvest it. You know what I'm saying? And that's a story all across America. You feel me? Like, a lot of us don't realize what is growing wildly in our backyards or just in the open areas wherever we're at. This is a staple in the islands, in the Caribbean households. They love this herb, man. They love it. This herb here is called Cerasee. Cerasee or bitter melon. Now, I'm not even gonna hold you. This is far from bitter for me. Like, if you are really deep into, healing and using herbs for medicine, this ain't bitter to you. What's bitter is wormwood. That's bitter to me. It really isn't that bitter to me. It also has a fruit that is attached to it that they also harvest when it's green. You can also harvest it when it's yellow. If you never had herbs before, then yes, you could probably consider this bitter. But to somebody that constantly going on quarterly fast or, fast throughout the year and that use some bitter herbs, bitter melon or cerasee is not that bitter. Lately, I've just been walking through the neighborhood and just looking at people's yards, and I'm just seeing this growing all throughout the fence line. And I'm like, damn, bro, a lot of these people don't even know a superpower herb that they have growing on their fence line, in their yard, but will go get Western medicine, or we have this Western medicine mentality of, go use their chemically based medicines to treat whatever we have instead of using something like cerasee to prevent, and also help alleviate, or heal. I really encourage you guys to really go food foraging. And if you live in Florida, I'm pretty sure you have this growing somewhere in your yard, or in your neighborhood. And the thing about cerasee growing too is it grows so randomly, bro. And I think it grows so randomly because maybe birds or something eat the fruit and then they poop the seeds out. That's my only idea, or theory on why it grows so random. It's so funny because my dog, whenever he gets groomed, the groomer is Jamaican. He's seen on the bush line that he's seen so much cerasee growing. He asked me, he's like, yo, what are you doing with this? Can I get some? I said, yeah, this dude took damn near all the cerasee and just stuffed it in his bag and he left. I didn't really care. It grows often here and it grows very quickly as well. Good for a lot of things. It's good for if you have skin issues. It has a lot of great minerals in it like vitamin C, vitamin B. It's loaded with potassium. It's great for your blood sugar, your blood pressure. I really want to start going around and foraging more often just to showcase how much free medicine we have growing around us, dealing with like herbs, fruit, and possibly even spices. You know what I'm saying? You never know until you go foraging. When I was in New York 2 years ago, maneuvering through the city, you would look on the intersection or like, where they have open grass, or you come off the highway or something like that. I literally seen so much dandelion growing wildly. It was insane. Like, it was crazy, bro. Just had it growing naturally, and we buy it from the stores all the time, which is no problem. But I'm just saying, like, you never know what you have grown. Like, every region is different. Say, for instance, like in New York, we was in New York, they had so much dandelion growing wildly, and I'm pretty sure they have a plethora of other herbs growing, but I seen was a whole bunch of just wild dandelion growing. When we went to North Carolina not too long ago, a lady's grandpa's backyard, he also had a bunch of dandelion growing in his backyard. He didn't even know what it was. He thought it was just a weed that was growing. And I was like, no, this is a herb that you can use for your healing. They have a whole bunch of, ailments that they have, and they don't realize that, the medicine is in their backyard, which these systems have often made us believe that these ancient herbs, that God gave us are weeds. So we use herbicides and stuff like that to try to kill these, But you can't kill God's creation. That's why they continuously grow, because they're meant to grow there. They're meant for you to use. They're there for the healing. And the day that we try to cease with all these so-called weeds that are really ancient medicines that have been used for years, the more disease, spiritual unalignment, and the whole nine is going to be more frequent as we see today, neighbors. Before I go and harvest this, man, make sure y'all do your neighborhood due diligence. Give this episode a like. Make sure to comment neighborhood in the comments below. You know, also let me know, you food forage, what do you see growing around you that you may have classified as a weed, or that you actually identify as a certain herb? I would love to know what you have growing wildly around you. Make sure to go follow me on all my socials at neighborhoodnature_, as well as subscribe to the channel. Why? So we can continue to grow the channel one neighbor at a time. If you guys want me to start offering this for the Lowski, I will definitely do so. You know what I'm saying? This is definitely another herb I definitely plan on, you know, providing for you guys to start utilizing for your healing on the website, as well as, you know, we have a plethora of fruit-bearing trees, other herbs, seeds that you can start your food foresting, gardening, or just your healing journey, neighbors. So that being said, let's go harvest some good old Cerasee. All right, neighbors, so I'm gonna go on the other side of the wall, but as you guys can see, like, the Cerasee is just growing in between carport, you feel me? And it's starting to grow back healthy, and I've been letting it be to see how much it grows. But yeah, man, look at it. Now, usually when it grows, the bush line that I was talking about is this bush line right here. It was growing all along this bush line. I don't see none now. I think I see another herb that's growing. I don't quite know what it is, so I'm not gonna harvest it, but I just wanted to show you guys where it was growing. I'm pretty sure this is another herb right here. Let's see. Yeah, if you know what this herb is, let me know. I'm pretty sure this is another herb that could be utilized as well. I'll put this right here. I may not even harvest this just because I wanted to grow more vigorously. I'm definitely gonna go over across the street to go harvest more. One across the street, you literally can't even see the fence. That's how much Cerasee is growing on it. It's so abundant over there. But as you guys can see, it's literally growing wildly over here. It's crazy to me because it grows just so randomly. Like, it doesn't have a specific spot that it grows. Like, it may grow in the same spot for a few years. Guess that just simply depends on if the seeds just drop in that same area. But honestly, it really just grows just so randomly. It never grows really in the same spot all the time. And that's just totally dependent on if you are harvesting the fruit, you know what I'm saying? But if you're just letting it sit there and continuously just grow vigorously and then die down in that same area, whether it's a fence line, a bush line, what happens is most likely the seeds are going to continuously drop in that same area, so that's why you'll possibly see it growing in the same area. But if you're constantly harvesting it, then it's most likely going to change up the areas of where it grows, and that's totally dependent on what I said earlier, possibly the birds that eat it and they poop, and, you know, they drop the seed somewhere. All right, neighbors, so we here at the place, the vacant lot where it's growing abundantly, and just off top at the front of the gate, you can see it growing. Look, this is just one end, bro, all along the fence line. And this isn't the most vigorous part. Look, this is the vigorous part I'm talking about. A lot of it is starting to dry up, but look how vigorous this Cerasee is just growing. You can't even see the fence. All this is dried up Cerasee, bro. All of it. I want to challenge a lot of people in the neighborhood, man. Before you classify something as a weed and you go spray with some herbicide, or you go pull that weed to go throw it away, try to identify what that weed, or what really it is, that herb is, that you could potentially use for your healing or somebody in your family's healing. So this is what the fruit looks like when it's ripe. Usually they harvest it when it's green, and then those red things you see in there, those are the seeds, you know. They're not really bitter, like I said. Now, maybe to the average person that doesn't do no type of fasting or cleansing or using any type of herbs in their raw state, you know, they'll probably think that this is bitter, but it really isn't that bitter, to be honest. You could just eat the leaves fresh, you could dry it out, and then you could store it in a cool, dry place and just add it to your herbal collection. Now, I'm not gonna harvest all this Cerasee because this is way too much Cerasee for me to harvest, but I will harvest a good amount. I'm gonna stuff the bag, you heard? Got my little scissors, you feel me, to cut it up nicely, and we're gonna do our thing, man. We're gonna do our thing. You see behind me is a very mature Valencia Pride mango tree that I will be getting some cuttings and showing you guys how to graft in one of my episodes, so make sure y'all tune into that. I'm gonna also take some of these seeds too so I could have some more growing in our backyard. We're gonna take our nice little scissors or clippers, snippers, whatever you wanna call them, and we're gonna get this snipping, you heard? The thing with food foraging, wherever you're at, especially if you're doing it in the wild, don't be greedy. Just because there's a whole row of Cerasee here for me to harvest doesn't mean I gotta take the whole thing. This is a principle that you should move with. Only take what you need. Don't harvest things with your greed in mind or your ego intact. Harvest what you need to last for that week, to last for that month, or whatever the case may be. Allow it to regrow back. Allow other people to harvest if they come across it, and so forth. Neighbors, be generous. Don't be greedy out here. We got enough corporations out here moving with greed, and we see how that's treating the world, so don't be like them. There's a whole nother herb right here that I don't even know what this is. You know, this is something. I don't know what this is though. This is some type of herb. I'm gonna figure out what this is. You know, it's here for us to heal, you know what I'm saying, and cleanse our body from all the impurities we put, you know, put in our bodies, whether it be from alcohol to, you know, you name it, man. I'm going to give it a quick little rinse and soak in some water. You can use vinegar, use baking soda if you're that paranoid, but you literally just see me harvest this from a vacant lot. I know there's no pesticides or any that was sprayed on it. All I'm just doing is rinsing off whatever bugs may be on it, like ants, any dead leaves that were already dried up on it. And then we're gonna dry it and then dehydrate it. Then we're gonna blend it up and we're gonna turn it into this. This is already a Cerasee that I harvested about a month or two ago, and it's still potent as ever. I did that same process that I'm doing now. To me, it's way easier just breaking it up like this and just dipping it piece by piece so that you could get whatever unwanted specimens are on it. It does not take long to do. All you gotta do is give it a few dips and pass it on. And me, when I see a whole bunch of stuff floating around in there, I just dump it. Start it over. This caterpillar will eat all your greenery, man. This thing is greedy right here. I'm not gonna kill it. I'm gonna actually leave it outside. Now I'm just drying it off a little bit so that it's not soaking wet in the dehydrator. All right, so we put the first batch of Cerasee in the dehydrator. As you guys can see, that's probably the first generation dehydrator. Brand is called Presto. I like this dehydrator. We've had it for years. It does the job. The only thing is it just doesn't fit a whole lot of things. You constantly gotta keep switching the layers because the first layer gets the most heat and the last layer, depending on how high you stack it, gets the least amount of like hot air hitting it or heat hitting it. If you have a better or more efficient dehydrator, I'll say use that. You can use the oven on the lowest setting and even then cut it off once the whole oven is evenly heated so you're not cooking the herbs. Or you could sun fire it. And what I mean by sun firing, that's basically what you're doing with the dehydrator, but you know, it's more technological. But the dehydrator mimics the sun. Most dehydrators don't go past 115, 117 degrees, which is the hottest that the sun will get. On the hottest day, you could go put it out there. It could possibly dry it in maybe an hour or two. You know, naturally air drying is another option. That takes the longest though. Your herbs won't get dried for 48 hours or longer. And you can utilize that if you're really not pressed for time. You know, trying to put it on high. So all I gotta do now is process the rest of that Cerasee. One, when you're processing it, make sure it's dry. You're storing it, you're storing it in a cool, dark, dry place. A place where light doesn't penetrate, nor does the temperature increase or dramatically decrease. You want it to stay a nice, cool temperature, similar to storing your seeds. You know, this is how you are able to store your seeds or your herbs for a very long time. I'm saying, and be at use or be of service to you whenever you're ready to use them, put them to use. And we got to get more in tune with the land. And when I say land, I mean your region or land that you're occupying, that you own. Some of these herbs that you're classifying as weeds are very much medicinal herbs that can lead to the healing of the land, healing of the people that own the land or family members or whatever the case may be. You just never know. You know, every region, every area is different. They grow different native weeds. You could find a lot of dandelion in New York just growing wildly. Same thing as North Carolina. The herbs just range, you know what I'm saying? You just gotta check out the land. If you go running in a place where, you know, you go on a trail, it's like foresty, or, you know, there's just a lot of greenery growing around you, check it out, see where it's growing. You might have some medicinal herbs growing there. Let's get familiar with the land so we could identify this stuff. You know, identify these medicinal ancient herbs that have been growing there way longer than you've been born. They put there for a reason. They're not invasive. They're not there to kill off the garden that you're growing or the trees or anything. They're there for a reason. They're there for the healing of the nation, neighbors. Whenever you get sick or whenever you want to take some time to yourself to purge all the dis-ease that you're feeling or the toxicity within, that's when you go to the earth. That's when you go to the herbs, you know, for the healing. And so let's get outside, man. Let's get to growing so our health could get to glowing. Make sure to do your neighborhood due diligence. Give this episode a like. Make sure to comment neighborhood in the comments below. Do you like foraging? Have you foraged before? Do you know what herbs are growing in your backyard that you're classifying as a weed? It may be a herb that you're spending a lot of money on every week or every few months. That's just growing free in your backyard. That you're putting herbicide on, that you're cutting constantly. You know, you never know until you know. Let's get to classifying these beautiful herbs that God has gave us, you know what I'm saying? Let me know what you got growing in your area. I would love to know. Follow me on all my socials at neighborhood nature _ as well as subscribe to the channel. Why? So we can continue to grow the channel one neighbor at a time. Also, neighbors, if you want to start your food foresting journey or your gardening journey, but you don't know where to start, go check out your favorite neighbor's online plant nursery. You know, we got a plethora of fruit-bearing trees, seeds, and seasonal herbs. Who knows? We may have some Cerasee available for those where it doesn't grow in your region. It does not grow in the cold. It only grows in tropical, subtropical areas such as Florida, the islands, and so forth, neighbors. So if y'all want this available, we're going to get it popping in the neighborhood. Peace, love, light, much energy to you and yours. It's your favorite neighbor, Dayron, aka Neighborhood. See you on the next one. Yeah,